go classy. I really wish to God I had a proper setup, honestly. I'm sat on my floor. Well, we're going to build up the tension. Tension, like anyone cares. Shy pig still. God. Number 2 is George Lazenby. What? George Lazenby? Yes, George Lazenby. On Her Majesty's Secret Service has been my favourite Bond film since I was in single digits, really. And some will say, well, that's no, you probably liked something else in single digits. Yeah, Spy Who Loved Me was actually my top 3 Bond films all the way through to 2005. And then Common Sense caught up with me. That and somebody probably slapped me about, I can't remember. The choice, you can't. If there was any other Bond, the other Bonds, you can talk generally about them and go, well, like I say with Roger Moore, he did a couple good films close to the books, but the rest were camp humour or whatever. And Brosnan did enough over his 4 films, and Craig hasn't, and so on and so. And Connery did a good job over his 6. I'm not including Never Say Never Again. Poor George Lazenby is stuck in the groove. When he was cast as Bond, he was the first actor other than, after Sean Connery to be cast as James Bond. He had incredible pressure ahead of him already. He wasn't a proper actor. He wasn't an experienced actor, I should say. And yet, in his 2 hours and 22 minutes, he did enough, in my humblest opinion, more so than 2 of the others that I've already mentioned in the other listings. In the other video, sorry. He had a physicality to him like Sean Connery, but a little bit more than Sean Connery, because George Lazenby knew how to handle himself. I imagine Connery did with his upbringing. He had a walk that was like a panther, and could wear a suit reasonably well, such as say when he turns up at the hotel in his car. Although I just realised he's in the pre-tunnels, he's driving a suit, and then he gets to the hotel in his cream suit, and he sees the car that's overtaken him. So did he change his clothes on the beach? Just thought of that. God, it's never really occurred to me. I just figured that was always the same, the same day or whatever. Oh well, fuck it. His scenes with Moneypenny and M are probably the best, featuring that M and that Moneypenny respectively, if not totally. He brings a confidence that probably helped him out. I mean, Diana Rigg and everyone says that they were carrying him. I don't know enough about acting, as you can tell, to form a judgment, but I don't think that's the case. And if they thought they were carrying him, then good luck to them. As I said, there's a physicality, be it, slapping a guy up on the beach or in the hotel room, to just the way he walks, as I say, or the stunts like on the cable, although it wasn't solely George Lazenby. And of course, emotion. I mean, that barn scene is probably one of the best things that have ever happened in a Bond film. And it had to be done, didn't it? He's fallen in love with her, and James Bond's capable of it. He's looking up at the ceiling, snow howling around the barn, and she says, why are you thinking about your job? And Bond's like, well, no, actually, thinking about us. How are we gonna, we can't carry on this way. I'll have to quit. In the book, Bond was going to anyway, and he was definitely going to after he married Tracy. He has one of the best Bond allies in Draco, one of the best Blofelds in Telecephalus. Fantastic, probably the best score in a Bond film, thanks to John Barry. A bitchin' action theme. A fantastic song, and We Have All the Time in the World, and the emotion punches you in the gut in the last scene. One of the criticisms levelled at Lazenby is that he cries. Unfortunately, James Bond is human, chaps. I like to think even the hardest of men, if they've fallen in love with somebody, would at least be slightly emotional if the love of their life was quite literally blown away next to them. And I personally think that's what makes the film work. And, you know, Peter Hunt made him redo that scene when he walks around the car and goes, "It's Blofeld," and you can. And apparently Lazenby said, you know, he got me to do it again, and I was getting wound up, and you know, the scene was bearing on me. And he had the book with him, and you sort of hear how choked he is when he goes, "It's Blofeld," and yeah, it hits you. It has to. If you've read the book, the end of the book is devastating, personally. And over the years, several criticisms I've read or seen or heard, you know, he's a bad actor, he's a wooden actor, he's only done one Bond film, therefore he's a bad Bond. Well, you know, Peter O'Toole's best acting role was in Lawrence of Arabia. He did several films, but I think Lawrence of Arabia is one of the few films that he did where it could never be bettered. There's other roles, I'm sure. Or, you know, Gregory Peck won the Oscar for To Kill a Mockingbird, but there's other films he did a fantastic bang-up job in. Lazenby had one shot. Or chose to have one shot. Is he or the agent he listened to a bloody idiot? I think so. I read somewhere that Cubby Broccoli was not happy in the slightest. You know, Lazenby basically stuck a finger up at him in a metaphorical sense. Off-screen, Lazenby was a handful. You know, there was a party thrown out when they were filming at Pitt's Gloria, and he turned up looking sulky, and somebody said, "What's the matter with you?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't go in for it." And they go, and it was just something on the notice board that said, you know, "Party tonight in the Alpine Lounge." He thought, being James Bond, he should get a preferential treatment. You know, there was the shagging about he did, which he, you know, legend. I mean, he was enjoying his youth. I should be so lucky. And there's stuff written about him since, and stories and like, but it's weird. You kind of feel you have to go the route that people want you to go do. Well, you know, should we watch more? That's top of the pile. Well, we're not at the top yet. It should be Brosnan. It's Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig was a much better Bond. You never hear of a Bond actor after necessarily saying, "Well, I watch on the Match Secret Service, and that's what I want to be like." You know, it's either they want to be like Connery or even Dalton, I suppose, now. I mean, Craig is, of course, the youngest Bond actor still with us. He's in his, 50s now, early 50s, and Sean Connery is he's almost 90. Dalton's in his mid-70s, and Brosnan the other day just turned 67. So, you know, our next Bond actor could feasibly say, "Well, I saw Pierce Brosnan when I was younger, and that's the Bond I want to be." You know, the other Bonds sometimes are honour bound, it seems, in interviews to go through the previous Bond actors, so Lazenby gets a mention. I don't think Moore ever had a bad word to say about him on camera or in a book. Connery you never hear from nowadays. Dalton's a bit wishy-washy about such things, but to me, On a Man's Secret Service is the blueprint for how Bond films should be. Peter Hunt wasn't going to be messing around with this film. And again, the greatest what if Bond-wise is Lazenby actually, you know, coming back in 71 for Diamonds Are Forever. And, you know, if he had done, say he had stuck to the 7-film agreement, that would have taken him up to at least 81, 83. Things I think would have been a lot different. We could be sitting here going, "Well, yeah, he's definitely the worst Bond. Over 6-7 films, nothing much changed. Maybe the humour that dogged the more films came into play. Maybe he still went into space because of Star Wars coming out." Or we could be saying now, well, you know what Daniel Craig is doing, George Lazenby started in the 70s and early 80s. I don't think there was anyone in the audiences come 73 that was saying, yeah, let's stick with the humour we had in Diamonds Are Forever. I want a Bond film to be light and fluffy. Some people probably did. But as I say, the Connerys found the balance, by and large, outside of Diamonds Are Forever anyway. You don't know, do you? And, well, we press on doggedly now to number 1. And that is, of course,